Hello, I'm Trevor Conroy, W7TDC, and you're watching Icom Radio News. This time we'll be checking out Amateur Radio's Field Day, the amazing history and lore of this long-standing event. Then we'll head over to Microsoft campus near Seattle, Washington, where Icom and the Microhams joined forces to participate in Field Day 2004. We'll also hook up with Glenn Johnson, W0GJ, where a new 7800 graces his Radio Shack. His initial thoughts on this radio and exclusive footage from Bellevue. So stay tuned, it's all ahead on Icom Radio News. Amateur radio has a long-standing history of public service around the world. When disaster or emergency strikes, ham radio operators are some of the first communication responders on site, creating a stream of health and welfare radio traffic in the affected areas. One of the best ways for hams to prepare is the yearly field day exercise. Just like the name implies, hams take to the hills, buildings, pretty much anywhere you can set up a ham radio station. The idea is to push your radio skills and equipment to the limit with a 24-hour contest that tests the radio amateur's readiness in times of crisis. The tradition of Field Day started with a simple one-column announcement in QST magazine in 1933, stating that an opportunity for portables to go into the field for 27 hours and make as many contacts with other stations as possible. Noted radio amateur F.E. Handy, W1BDI, states in QST magazine, the real object of this contest is to test portables wherever they may be available. Since that short article in 1933, Field Day has been a main staple of the hobby.
CQ Field Day, CQ Field Day. Here is November 7, Oscar Sierra and 7OS Field Day.
There is a lot of pride over Field Day in the amateur radio service, a friendly competition for points and an opportunity to test readiness and show the community what ham radio offers every municipality that needs a ready backup of licensed and trained radio communication operators.
We're also competitive by nature, and so it turns into a contest, and a lot of people have a lot of fun. They spend a lot of energy.
I actually prefer fussing more with antennas and behind-the-scenes logistics stuff.
Field Day is an exercise to test our readiness to how we can perform at unusual conditions and portable operations and that sort of thing.
Through the years, radio gear has changed a great deal. The first field days required hundreds of pounds of radio equipment to get the job done. Nowadays, things have really gotten the squeeze. Take the Icom 706 Mark II-G for example, a small, compact radio transceiver or rig that squeezes those hundreds of pounds of complex radio gear into a slim, lightweight radio. Now with complex DSP, extensive noise reduction, and audio filtering, ham radio operations are more flexible and ready for anything. Icom's latest entry into the market is the exciting 7800. This radio is state-of-the-art with 4 32-bit DSPs dedicated to the rig's internal operations. It's like having 4 computers in one radio. Advanced filtering and major improvements in dynamic range make this radio the radio for demanding field day and amateur radio contest operations. I was lucky to report on Field Day 2004 from Icom's official Field Day site on the Microsoft campus with the Microhams Amateur Club. QRZ, November 7, Oscar Sierra.
Kilo 9, Victor Sugar.
Kilo 9, Victor Sugar. Please copy 4 Alpha, Western Washington.
2 Alpha, Whiskey India, 2 Alpha, Wisconsin.
2 Alpha, Wisconsin, 7-3s. QRZ, November 7, Oscar Sierra, Field Day. I'm in Redmond, Washington right now with Icom and Microsoft Ham Radio Club. 20 meters has been doing great. I've been on it the last 2 days and we're almost up to 1,000 contacts. The bands this year have been great. We're making a lot of contacts and hopefully we'll be able to get a lot of points for the club this year. Crowded field day band conditions make for a lot of work for these dedicated amateur radio operators. By Sunday morning, after many of these people have been working for over 24 hours, operator burnout is a constant threat. But their Icom 7800s are barely warm to the touch and ready to go for many, many more hours. Field day is a rough test for some equipment, but not these Icom sets. And this year, the Microhams and Icom and I racked up over 3,000 Qs or confirmed contacts. Not bad. Field day nowadays is a far cry from the early years. From one ham operating a single small radio and a simple long wire antenna to dozens of people working together on numerous operating stations and a whole antenna farm of raised towers and antennas of all sorts, today's hams are well prepared for an emergency. And they work different parts of the radio spectrum too. Shortwave, VHF and UHF operations. From amateur satellites orbiting in space, continent hopping shortwave, and even enterprising amateurs bouncing signals off the surface of the moon. Field day from a technology standpoint is more exciting than ever, but one thing hasn't changed. When disaster strikes, hams are ready to go. Okay, from field day to a road trip, Dr. Glenn Johnson, W0GJ, made news as he headed out to Bellevue. Here's the story.
CQ20, 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 Whiskey 0, Golf Juliet. Whiskey 0, Golf Juliet, CQ20, listing. And the Pro 2s have been on many DXpeditions. They're a much smaller radio, very good radios, and to my knowledge, after hundreds of thousands of contacts, there hasn't been one failure. My name is Glenn, Germany, London, England, Norway. One reason I wanted to see Icom headquarters and to see what goes on here, because I've been impressed with the Icom radios over the last few years, and I really want to see what it's like here. I came to pick up my new Icom 7800.
I heard somebody tell me you had 17 antennas at your home.
Something like that. I don't know how many towers I have, but it's a number. But I have stacked arrays on each band, and I have enough antennas that during most contesting I can just push a button to select an antenna instead of have to wait for an antenna to turn. But I've had over the years built up a single op 2 radio contest station with a single radio, or with a single computer and a radio on each side, and the amplifiers out to the side with all the antenna switching up on either side. And
sounds very ergonomic.
It's very ergonomic, and I've had, for several years, I've used the Icom 756 Pro 2s.
This is the very first IC 7800 we're selling to the public?
Yes.
And how did you come to be the first customer for this radio?
One of my trips to the Kingdom of Bhutan, I took Ray Novak, N9JA, with us for a contest operation, and he asked several of us on this trip, what we wanted in a receiver or a transceiver for the ultimate DX radio. And there were 2 or 3 of us that put our heads together. We came up with a long list of things. Separate receivers, dual control, stereo, and I couldn't believe it, but a couple years later I get a call from Ray that we have your radio ready. And it was the Icom 7800, and it was interesting to know that I had a little part in it. Maybe I didn't, but at least I like to think so, because those of us that put our heads together, this is almost identical to what we wanted. Completely 2 separate receivers, 2 separate controls to control them, and the specs that have come out on this radio have far exceeded our expectations. So I have a place for it in my shack. It'll be the centerpiece, and I'll have a keyboard. You can see here the screen is set up right now. We're copying PSK, and we've just made a few PSK and RTTY contacts with just this plug-in keyboard, a little USB keyboard that goes in the back, and that's all we need. We don't need a computer or a TNC. It's all right here on the radio. I have 1 wife, 4 kids, all 6 of us are hams.
Excellent.
We all like to contest, the DX. They've all been, everyone has been on a contest DXpedition of some sort. My youngest son, my oldest son, was with us on the original Bhutan DXpedition when he was 14. He kept up with the pros.
What a great experience that must have been.
It was. My favorite feature so far is I think I'm interested in PSK now. I've done some playing with it in the past, but this makes it so easy to tune in a PSK signal and copy it. And with just a keyboard, we can make contacts. We did several RTTY contacts the same way. It's all on, just need the radio and the keyboard. It has very good audio sounding qualities on both receive, and I've had several good comments from the transmitted audio. And we've been right in the middle of the day, and there's been a lot of noise. And the noise reduction controls really can eliminate the noise down to an amazing level. I can't wait until an evening time when there's a lot of static and more CW signals to work. The filters are very easy to change and to adjust on the fly. I've been very impressed with how easy it is. The controls in a little bit different position than my previous radios, but it's like learning to drive a different car or in a different driver's seat. But it's just after a couple hours, it's almost second nature for some of the controls. go to the band scope. It will scope on either side of your transmitted signal, or you can scan the whole band. It's set up that way. In the meter system, you can adjust the meter so that it will adjust to suit your taste. It's really almost second nature now to play with. Extremely positive. Can't wait to get it home.
Congratulations on being the first owner of the 7800.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Wow, lucky guy. Pretty serious ham radio operator. Speaking of the 7800, I was fortunate enough to be able to travel to Dayton with Icom. I know he did that video, but now I'm told, what? Outtakes and bloopers? I don't know what this is, but I have an odd feeling. Take a look.
Welcome to Icom. Come here. Take a little side trip. Behind the scenes. Who wants to play Stomp the Hand? Ham radio is cool. Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. Good morning.
Good morning already.
Lots of people, lots of shopping.
Stop it. Look at all the steamy hams.
I'm about to die.
Long and tiring.
It's real hot. Everybody looking for that.
Day 2.
Play the cards, man. Go ahead. Play the cards. Pick one. Pick one. Pick one. Just one. Just one. Just one. Pick one. And then we'll last you a lifetime. Yes. Come on. Come on. Closer.
My agent's name.
Stop that.
Listen to this. I had one customer that called the store one time, and he said, I just bought a radio. It's supposed to be a 2-meter radio, and I'm very, very mad right now. I said, what's going on? It only has 1 meter on it. I said, what do you mean it has 1 meter? It's supposed to have 1 meter when you just hit the PTT. Yeah, but it says in my book, it says a 2-meter radio.
That's good.
All right, you're on a date. Your cell phone battery dies.
Yeah.
Hey, your date steps out for a minute. What do you do?
88! Get closer together. Can we take a couple takes of this one?
Today's Sunday,
Day 3.
and that's all she wrote.
Sunday, the last day.
I'm still awake.
Gonna be a slow day today, so probably get a chance to walk around and check out stuff for myself and hopefully buy something.
I had a great time. How about you? Everybody enjoy yourself this year? Let's hear it louder. Come on, guys.
Bye. Wow, I don't remember most of that. Anyway, we hope you've enjoyed a little field day history and our visit with Dr. Glenn Johnson. That's it for this time. Stay tuned for updates from Icom about new products and topics of interest. For more information about this great hobby, visit the ARRL website at www.arrl.org. I'm Trevor, W7TDC, and from all of us at Icom, we hope to see you on the air. Anyway, we hope you've enjoyed this little visit. Anyway.
Exactly. Ask me why, I don't know is her idea.
When natural disaster strikes, you can count on ham radio.